against Bitcoin.
It's going up forever.
You're against Bitcoin, you're against freedom.
Yo, welcome to another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. We're your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. Cover breaking news, culture, matic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. Today's a very special episode. It is the last episode of Simply Bitcoin Live of 2023. We are going to be taking the last week of December off. So hopefully we'll finish strong for you guys. Today's episode is a very interesting topic. Javier Milei is deregulating the Argentine economy. And part of that deregulation was that essentially he made it, it's not so much that Bitcoin is legal tender, but he made it legal for people to accept non-quote unquote legal tender currencies. And that kind of creates an environment where currencies are competing. And if currencies are competing, the best currency is going to win. And obviously, you guys know what we think is the best currency. Obviously, we think it's Bitcoin because of Bitcoin's incentives. So I think in this type of environment where, you know, people aren't forced to use certain currencies via legal tender laws, there's actual free market competition. He is a libertarian after all. What I think you're going to see is you're going to see the best currency win. I really think so. So awesome day. If you're living in Argentina, they still got a giant hill to climb. They've been ravaged by this inflation. They got ravaged by, this big government, lots of regulations, high taxes, and people got so desperate that they voted in a libertarian candidate. A lot of people are calling him this right-wing extremist, this crazy conservative. That's not true. He's libertarian, right? But of course, you can't push it past the legacy media to label anything that they see as a threat to them. So we're going to talk about that during the news segment. And during the numbers segment, we talk a lot about this concept of the Overton window. And once again, Natalie Burnell is doing Satoshi's work, and she brought on Charles Payne to her show. Charles Payne is an anchor who's on Fox Business. I'm going to show you guys a picture. Everyone knows who he is. You guys have seen him on TV many, many times. He's actually had Natalie on his show on many, many times. And it's nice to see that Natalie brought him on her show. And he's pretty effing based, right? So again, once you have, members of the legacy media who are outside of the Bitcoin echo chamber, that they're fans of Bitcoin, right? The first one was Tucker Carlson, of course. It's a big deal in terms of getting the message out there, getting more people on the side of orange, the side of Bitcoin, the side of freedom. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to play you the clip from Natalie's podcast, Coin Stories. Overall, it's going to be a great show. We're going to finish strong this year. I finally fixed my computer, so we shouldn't have any kind of weird quirks or delays. I don't recommend downloading a new operating system or a new upload to your operating system as soon as it drops. Wait a little bit until they, update all the surrounding apps and all that. So anyways, I'm excited for today's show. Like I said, I want to bring up my legendary co-host, who's always optimistic. He has a giant smile on his face, and I'm talking about the Optimus Fields. How you doing, Opti?
What's up? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. I'm gonna wear my Santa hat for as long as I don't start profusely sweating on stream. So if it comes off, you already know the deal. But yeah, man, can I do just like a quick recap, Nico? I know it's the last show and no one wants to hear about it, but man, what a year it's been. So thankful for every single one of you guys that hangs out with us. It really means the world to us, and we're just so happy and honored and humbled that we've created this whole thing, and you guys like to show up with us. And I'm feeling grateful and thankful, and man, what a year it's been. We're gonna take a little break, But 2024, we're going to come back even stronger. We're going to make sure we're dropping that hot fire for you guys. But man, what an episode to end the year on. It's almost like we keep predicting all this stuff, Nico. It's almost like we might kind of know what we're talking about. You know, left side of the bell curve just stays winning. 80 IQ Bitcoiners. It's almost like we can see the future. It's really incredible. Anyways, let's bring in our guest, Nico. I think you guys are gonna enjoy this one. It's very fitting. We have Gabe from Operation Bitcoin with us today, and you guys know we've been covering all the crazy stuff going on in the news. I'm pretty sure we're going to touch a little bit on what Gabe's thoughts are about Elizabeth Warren. Talking about veterans and all this stuff, all kinds of crazy stuff in the news. But anyways, how you doing this morning, Gabe?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
So before we jump into it, what quick thoughts about Elizabeth Warren? We call her the monetary demon or one of the monetary demons. What are your thoughts on, her talking about veterans? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, well, I try to keep my feelings out of situations like this, especially when someone has such a tendency to continue to step on their own dick like Elizabeth Warren did. So,
let's go.
But when you get down to it, I mean, to me, it's just a bunch of show. It's a bunch of, it's a big peacock display from a failed politician who really is just trying to make some type of irrelevant noise before she squeaks out into even more of an obscure role of life. But when you get down to it, I read through the letter and I did have some primary thoughts that came to me. First and foremost, it was interesting to me that she would group together military veterans with terrorist activity, first of all, in the first place, because it takes a whole lot of balls to do something like that with a group of people who serve our nation and who she may refer to at one point as heroes, and we need them and they're out doing these great things. But it's all good as long as we're out there furthering her interests and the interests of her cohorts. But when we step out of that system and then go into the truth and the light, then all of a sudden we become a target and a threat. So to me, it was beyond preposterous. But again, at the same time, I really have to wonder about the effectiveness of her demands with the letter that she wrote. And when you get down to it, at the end of the day, if I were the recipient of that letter, I believe my response would be very similar to what Mr. Musk said on the stage that day. And that would be basically go fornicate thyself.
Man, based. I can tell Gabe and I are going to get along just fine. So anyways, guys, really excited for today's episode. Like I said, it is the last one of the year. We're going to finish strong. If you guys haven't been enjoying the show so far, make sure to smash that like button. Help us break 100 likes within the first hour on YouTube. And of course, shout out to our audiences on Twitter, which has been growing, and our audience on Rumble as well. I think we just broke 2,000 subscribers on Rumble. So appreciate all you guys on Rumble and all the platforms, and of course all the audio platforms as well. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the show. All right, no more delay. Let's jump straight into the numbers.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Is your seed phrase really secure? Stamp Seed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of just writing them on paper. Don't store your generational wealth on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage. You want to put your generational wealth on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. Your words are actually stamped into this metal plate with this hammer and these letter stamps. And once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamped seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They're also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin with peace of mind for the long haul. Stamp your seed on Stamp Seed. All right, guys, I made it super easy for you guys. You could scan the QR code on your screen. It will take you directly to the Stamp Seed website, where you can use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on the Stamp Seed website. You want to store your generational wealth on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. You don't want to store it on paper. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $43,655. Sats per dollar, 2,291. Block height, 822,420. Blocks to halving, 17,580. Halving estimate, April 19, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity, 5,010 Bitcoin. Capacity value, 218 million US dollars. Realized monetary inflation rate, 1.75%. The total market capitalization of Bitcoin, 854 billion US dollars. And the Bitcoin versus gold market cap, it's only at 6.24%. Once Bitcoin reaches the gold market cap, that would put the price of Bitcoin at roughly $500,000 per coin. I think a little bit more, actually. Anyways, we're going to talk about Charles Payne. We talk a lot about the concept of the Overton window on the show. We talk a lot about the concept of breaking the Bitcoin echo chamber. And for us to really move the envelope, for us to really push Bitcoin into the mainstream consciousness, it's the mainstream podcasters, it's the mainstream news anchors. Those are the people that matter, because those are the people that already have audiences who are following them, who are not necessarily Bitcoiners. They're just watching their content because they enjoy their content. Remember, Simply Bitcoin, at the end of the day, it might be a top of the funnel show for sure. But at the end of the day, you have to kind of be a Bitcoiner for you to really understand, the lingo and what we're talking about. And you have to care, because if you don't really care, then you're gonna be like, oh, these guys are, just talking about this magic internet money. Like, why should I care what they're saying? Right. So it's really important when these types of things happen. And Nat and Peter McCormack and our friends over at Bitcoin Magazine have done incredible jobs really on this mission, right? They had Bitcoin Mag had RFK Jr., they had Vivek, I know they had Tulsi Gabbard there, and I know that Natalie has been doing Satoshi's work, and she's gone on Mr. Payne's show multiple times on Fox Business. And for once, Natalie brought him on her show, and he had some interesting things. We've said to you, based on his comments on Fox Business, that Mr. Payne sounds really based. I mean, let's just check out this clip, and then we'll talk about it.
Giving up, just giving up on what they can do with fiat currency, right? Their printing machines, and their printing presses, and their control over society. Right. I mean, I just can't see them giving that up. And I think what they're going to do initially is try, the sort of carrot approach. Hey, check us out. We've got this central bank digital currency thing. And by the way, we need to put some ring posts around this, crypto environment. You see all these scamsters out there. We want to protect you. So they're going to be, it's sort of going to be this sort of, the thing I think, though, is that people are going to reject it. Then what I fear is that then it's time to take out, first you have the carrot, then the stick. Then I fear that the next move will be, well, you're going to have to use it. And again, this is one of my main concern, is that I think governments and people are going to have to rise up. I mean, after all, they represent us, not vice versa, although they always forget it. And we allow them to get away with things that they should not get away with. So I see a major confrontation somewhere down the road as governments feel like this is slipping away from them. I mean, think about the mandates, for instance. Canada's going through with a mandate that all cars have to be EVs, new cars by 2035. So they're taking away choice. Mm-hmm. And by the way, in the process, they're destroying everything. So many things. America's along the same glide path. So listen, I've always been excited about Bitcoin. I learned about it a long time ago. Obviously, I wish I had pounced on it. I did not. I was concerned about the structure, like the secret formula thing. But I want to see it prevail, and I think ultimately it will.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, super based, like based AF, like. He's essentially talking like a Bitcoiner, and he was just like, yeah, there's going to be this inevitable clash. So basically the things that, the themes and the ideas that we've been talking about for quite a while. And yes, there is going to be an inevitable clash. I think it is super inevitable. And I said this on Simply Sessions last night, and I'm going to reiterate it. I'm going to repeat it. Current U.S. sanctioned policy is not compatible with Bitcoin's open monetary network. The two are not compatible. They in my opinion, they cannot coexist. And I think that there is going to be an epic clash. And I think a lot of the things that are happening lately, whether that's the Elizabeth Warren bill, the DOJ press conference in regards to the Binance. Opti was there. I was covering it for Swan. We were live streaming it. My voice cracked, and then like everyone was like focusing on the press conference itself, and I was like, they're gonna try to ban self-custody in the United States of America. How did I know that? Because they mentioned the word terrorism like 50 times in that press conference. Okay, may be a little bit hyperbolic saying that, maybe not 50, but at least 20 times. What does a shitcoin casino have to do with terrorism? And again, if you take a look at the numbers. Right. And we've broken down the numbers for you guys. We've shown you guys the numbers for you guys. Less than 1% of illicit finance is done using quote unquote Bitcoin and crypto. 99% of illicit finance is done using the traditional financial system. Why are they so hell bent? Why are they so focused on Bitcoin and crypto? Well, I think it has nothing to do with money laundering. I think it has nothing to do with crime and terrorism. I think that's the boogeyman they need in order to justify the taking away of more of our freedoms. But in reality, what this is about is their control on money, their monopoly on money. And Bitcoin is a clear and present danger to that monopoly. I think it terrifies politicians for a couple of reasons. The fact that they can't confiscate your wealth at the flick of a switch, the fact that they can't inflate your wealth away, and the byproduct of that is that it empowers citizens, it empowers the individual, and it takes away power from the political class, from the bureaucratic elite class. So I agree with Mr. Payne. We've said this theory on Simply before. There is going to be a clash. Now, Corey Clipson of Swan, he writes the piece, The Race to Avoid the War, in which he makes the case that we must win the adoption race. We must have an intransigent minority in the United States that becomes unmovable on a certain issue, right? I think it's like 5 to 10% of the population. And then Bitcoin kind of becomes like the gun lobby in a way. And I know a lot of, okay, I don't like guns, whatever. You should, though. You should. But anyways, but it becomes like the gun lobby, where try passing a gun law in the US. It's like impossible, right? Because it's just so many people own guns. So many people feel passionate about it that it becomes an unmovable issue, even if they're somewhat successful, right? The states come in and they're like, no, I'm not doing that. So Bitcoin hopefully gets to that point. We do have a couple of Bitcoin stronghold states, like the great state of Wyoming, like the great state of Texas. I hope to see more states, kind of follow in that direction. But yeah, I think that this is going to be an epic fight of epic proportions. I think that we've never seen this before, because this is different. This is different. You are essentially fighting, you are confronting the very source of the state's power, right? That's what you're when you opt out and you choose to self-custody Bitcoin, what you're basically saying is, I refuse to use their system. I refuse to use your system. And here's the thing, their system needs people to use it, right? So, this is going to be an epic battle. I think this is going to be a peaceful revolution, like we always say. I don't think this is going to be a kinetic battle at all. I might be wrong, but what you can do to participate in this revolution is taking Bitcoin into self-custody. If you do that, you're part of the revolution, whether you're aware of it, whether you acknowledge it, you are part of it, my friend, right? And if enough people take self-custody, we will win. And there's absolutely nothing they could do about it, right? But we have to win over the hearts and minds. We have to don't get distracted by the left and right dichotomy bullshit. It's not left versus right. It is orange versus green, the party of Bitcoin, opportunity, peace, prosperity, versus the party of nihilism, slavery, and fiat, right? So if we wake up, enough people will win. That's why we cover these types of events, because they are historic, right? The more people that are outside of the Bitcoin echo chamber, that are based, that are woken up, that are saying stuff like, holy cow, this is crazy what's happening. They're trying to take away our freedoms. the better it is for our cause. Anyways, I want to get Opti's take, and then we'll move on.
Let's get Gabe, because you guys probably already know what I'm going to say, and I'm going to kind of just echo what Nico said. So Gabe, you jump in first, and then I'll wrap this one up.
Yeah. So, so you mentioned the race to avoid the war, Nico, and that is, I mean, that is a cornerstone of my thought process in the approach to all of this and the way that Operation Bitcoin came to be, really. Because this isn't something that's going to just disappear. The fiat system is going to fight tooth and nail. And again, let's hope that things don't get kinetic, because none of us want that. But the reality is, we are in a race to avoid the war, and that's where I see so many military veterans getting involved in this, in the formation of Bitcoin veterans. I know we've got a good number of them in the chat group over here, which is a community that is growing of individuals that are prepared to do whatever it takes for us to avoid things getting worse than they have to be. And we're talking about individuals that are highly skilled, highly motivated, and are very passionate about Bitcoin and jumping in here feet first to get things done. But you're right. It does come down to a matter of power. And power is something that is never given. It is only taken. And they are not going to relinquish the power that they have. The fiat system will not relinquish the power that it has over the majority of the population, the vast majority of the population up to this point, because Bitcoiners are still a pretty small group, but we are mighty and we are growing. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's about power, and nobody gives it up. They will continually seek more and more and more of it, and will not stop unless they are stopped.
100%.
Love it, Gabe. Me and Nico have been saying that.
This?
We've been saying that so much. All right, yeah. So let me kind of roll back a little bit. First and foremost, Nico and I, we've been covering all the corporate press on the show all year long. We've been speculating whether Charles has been a Bitcoiner. Just based on his words, we were like, he's for sure a Bitcoiner. He's had Saylor on the show, Nat Brunel on the show, Jack Mahler, just a bunch of awesome Bitcoiners on the show. And the way that he was communicating with the Bitcoiners, you could just tell that he was a Bitcoiner. Now, he said he's been a Bitcoiner for a long time. Who knows if, he's kind of blown some smoke up his own ass or whatever. But this is what we've been saying.
Who are you saying is blowing smoke up his
Charles
own ass?
Payne. We all say the same thing. We're like, I've been in Bitcoin way longer than I have just to look cool. So, I mean, hey, I'm taking his words.
No, but he didn't say that. He said, I was exposed to Bitcoin a long time ago, but he was very humble about it. He's like,
Okay.
I didn't take the opportunity. I wish I had.
Okay. Well, then he's not a Bitcoiner.
What do you mean? No.
All right. I'm not trying to shit on Charles. Shouts out to Charles. He's the GOAT.
Opti, we need more people on our team.
I know,
not
and
less,
that's what I'm
bro.
saying. I know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to come across as talking shit here. And I was going to big him up because me and you have been talking about this all year long, just how important it is to have people like Charles become Bitcoiners. And it's kind of like while he was talking, I had that the Fight Club meme, where it's like, we run the nodes, like we're everywhere, don't mess with Bitcoiners. And I know we're talking about, and even Charles was kind of talking about the fact that there may be an inevitable clash here. Like, of course, we don't want this to get kinetic. We say it all the time, Bitcoin is that peaceful revolution. And even though we have the politicians and the bankers kind of coming after us right now, for some reason, I just got so hopeful watching that, because it just goes to show that as Bitcoin starts to mature and starts to infiltrate, or rather saturate, all of popular culture, like Bitcoiners are everywhere, and it's going to be absolutely impossible for these politicians and these central bankers to really not only stop Bitcoin, but stop Bitcoiners. It's like we're everywhere. And this is the theory of Simply Bitcoin here as a channel and as a show in general. It's like we believe that Bitcoin culture will become the popular culture. And you can see slowly but surely more and more people are waking up to the things we talk about here every single day. We know what the problem is, but very few people know what the solution is. And the fact that we have, Joe Kerr, Charles Payne, we have people in positions like, I'd venture to say even Tucker, like we have people in key positions that are Bitcoiners, and it's going to be very difficult for them to outlaw Bitcoin when people that have good reputations are also Bitcoiners. And like, I know everyone in the chat, I always say, we're a group of individuals here. and we, you know, the other meme was slay your heroes, but this is good for everyone because people, for better or worse, look at people on television. They look at people with accolades and they're like, oh, you know, I can trust this guy. This guy has put in the work. He's a trustworthy face. And if they start talking about Bitcoin in positive light, guys, like this is going to spread like a wildfire. And this is the idea of moving the Overton window. Like, of course, it's not Charles's job to like go out and just like constantly talk about Bitcoin like it's our job to do. But the fact that he is a holder and he's in this position where, you know, of course, us millennials don't really watch television, but like our parents do. And people still look at the television and like, oh, these are trustworthy voices. And the fact that we have Bitcoiners everywhere now, it just, I think we might be able to avoid that inevitable war because everyone's going to be a Bitcoiner moving forward. And I think this next year, seeing the price run up and seeing everyone talk about Bitcoin, like and the retail FOMO that I think is coming, I think it's going to be damn near impossible for these people to come out against Bitcoin because everyone is going to be a Bitcoiner. And again, you know, Bitcoin exposes the hypocrisies. And if they're attacking Bitcoin, wait, what do we say?
You're against Bitcoin. You're against freedom.
And it's going to become even more obvious every single day that if they come out against Bitcoin, then they are not a trustworthy voice. And so shouts out to Charles.
100%. I think that this next political cycle, so 2024, is going to be extremely divisive. I think that taking a anti-Bitcoin stance is going to be extremely unpopular. And I think by 2026 and 2028, the next election years, I think it's going to be unviable. I think just the percentage of the population that are going to be holding this asset, and for you to be a public, you know, a politician who's supposed to be by the people. Then this is the beauty of Bitcoin also, is a lot of people don't understand, is that it exposes incentives. So like these politicians, if they want to keep up the racket, they're going to have to expose themselves in the process. And it really, you know, shines a light of truth. And it's like, wait a second, are you really, you know, for my best interest, or are you trying to, you know, protect your money printer privilege? It like, what's going on there?
Yeah,
like,
he even said that.
No, of course, he's super based, right? He's had Maulers on. I think Natalie's done great when she's gone on his show. So yeah. Anyways, keep up the pressure. We're winning, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it's all about. I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Bitcoin 2024. It's going to be July 25th through the 27th in Nashville, Tennessee. It's not going to be in Miami this year. You definitely don't want to miss the biggest Bitcoin conference of the year. The ticket prices do increase in 14 days. So you want to get them quickly before the prices go up. For a GEA ticket, you can get it for $349. For an industry pass, you can get it for $1,099. That gives you access to 3 days of the conference. And if you want a VIP pass, you can get it for $4,999. That gives you exclusive access to the deep backstage VIP lounge. I got to meet Tulsi Gabbard backstage. It was pretty cool. Guys, you definitely don't want to miss the biggest Bitcoin celebration of the year. Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville, Tennessee, July 25th through the 27th. Use promo code SIMPLY to get yourself a massive discount. All right, everybody, let's hit the news.
The Daily News.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Foundation Devices. It's self-custody done right. They built a premium grade hardware wallet called Passport right here in the US. It's fully open source and verifiable. It's the most intuitive Bitcoin wallet designed with a UX reminiscent of a simple feature phone. So you will know how to navigate it and use it the moment you pick it up. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges and into your own hands in just a few minutes. Experience the peace of mind that comes with taking ownership of your own keys. After a massive sellout during Bitcoin Miami 2023, the Passport is back in stock at foundationdevices.com. Bitcoin only, open source verifiable, completely air gap security model, gorgeous design craft, premium grade materials. If you're thinking about getting your Bitcoin off exchanges, this is the one for you. Check out the Passport link in the show notes below to learn more. All right, everybody. I made it super easy for you guys. You could scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you directly to the Foundation Devices website where you can get yourself a Passport hardware wallet. Remember, guys, not your keys, not your cheese. So you definitely want to take self-custody, and that's simply, we recommend our sponsor, Passport by Foundation. All right, everybody. So I do want to talk about Javier Milei. He won the presidency in Argentina, and this guy was running on a platform where he was literally taking videos, him and his supporters, of him taking a chainsaw to the country's central bank. He's also been he ran on the concept of shrinking the size of the government, deregulating the economy, giving people liberty and freedom to choose, because he believes that if you give people liberty, that is how you achieve prosperity. At Simply Bitcoin, we completely agree, I might add. And this was historic because this is the first time a true libertarian Austrian economist won the presidency of a major country. That's never been the case, right? It's usually traditionally it's a liberal, a leftist versus a conservative. That's usually been, the pendulum kind of swings that way. So the fact that it swang the side of Ron Paul, is pretty cool. So here I'm going to play you a little bit of his speech. It is in Spanish. I'll try to translate a little bit of it. But he goes on to say, today's a historic day for our country. After decades of failure, impoverishment, decadence, today we formally begin our path of reconstruction. Since we assumed office only 8 business days ago, we have focused on trying to contain the enormous crisis we inherited. For that reason, we designed a shock stabilization plans that include a fiscal adjustment program, an exchange rate policy that would stay true to the exchange rate in the value market, monetary policy that includes the healing of the central bank. Ooh, I don't like that. The healing of a central bank. He went from, tearing down the central bank to healing the central bank. The central bank is the problem. But of course, I'm sure he's had to reach, politics at the end of the day is compromises. I would rather him, follow through what he originally set out to do and say. But anyways, look, whether this guy turns out to be the next Ron Paul of Argentina or he turns out to be a dud, the concept we've talked a lot about on this show, the concept of the Overton window, and he has definitely moved that tremendously. Therefore, it's definitely progress for anybody on the side of freedom, anybody on the side of Austrian, economics. So whether he turns out to be a dud or not, it's too soon to tell. Definitely making progress. Now, let's talk about something that he actually did, and it's really positive. Here's Fernando. Fernando works at Blockstream. He's a friend of the show, and he said 380,000 regulations eliminated by Milei. Holy mother of based, right? That is a lot. That is definitely shrinking the size of government. But here's the most important part, and this is what we're going to really focus on today, is Javier Milei legalizes free competition of currency in Argentina. Here is Bitcoin news. It says Milei's new law in Argentina permits the use of all foreign currencies. As Bitcoin is recognized as legal tender in El Salvador, it falls into this category and will be accepted under the new law. Quote, the obligation is to give money if the debtor owes a certain amount of determinable currency, whether or not it is legal tender in this country. Here is a Cointelegraph article that goes into a little bit more of the details. In Argentina, contracts can be settled in Bitcoin, says the foreign minister. Diana Modino, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Trade, and Worship of Argentina, has claimed that a decree legalizing the use of certain currencies and contracts for payments would apply to Bitcoin. In December 21st, Modino said that a decree seemingly aimed at economic reform and deregulation would allow the use of BTC and other cryptocurrencies in the country under certain conditions. Quote, basis for the reconstruction of Argentina economy decree passed on December 20th did not specify mention crypto, but included provisions that debitors had the choice to pay in currencies not recognized as legal tender in Argentina. It goes on to say, according to Mordino, the decree would also allow for settling contracts using liters of milk or steer. Other provisions within the decree give individuals the freedom to choose the currency used, largely referring to foreign currencies, but did not explicitly deny crypto. Quote, the parties have the liberty to specify the amounts and the type of currency used for the bond or security deposit, as well as the mention for its reimbursement upon the lease conclusion. It goes on to say, Argentinian President Javier Milei appointed Mordino as the foreign minister following his election victory against then Finance Minister Sergio Massa. Many in the space saw Milei's win as a positive sign for crypto adoption in Argentina. Now, here's a couple interesting thoughts, okay? So, number one, right? The idea of legal tender, even if it's pro Bitcoin, and like, of course, I love El Salvador. I love Nayib Bukele. I think El Salvador is the shining country on a hill. I think it's setting an example for the rest of the region. You're still using the state to essentially force people to use a certain currency. I'm not a fan of legal tender laws. I'm seeing like the positive, path that Argentina is taking. They even said it. You can use foreign currencies or you can use steer and milk. Like, it's basically like whatever the free market, decide to use as currency can be used as currency. Now, in that type of environment, what happens when certain currencies and certain things start to compete for you? The best one is going to flow to the top. Obviously, we know the best one is Bitcoin, right? It has a capped supply. There's a halving every 4 years, has absolute scarcity. It's censorship resistant. If you have a free market competition between different currencies, including foreign currencies, I think Bitcoin's going to rule the day. So I think this is very good news for Bitcoin. I think this is very good news for Bitcoiners in Argentina, because it kind of opens up like, look, we're not making it legal tender, but you could also use it to settle debts. You could also use it to settle contracts, right? So, I mean, that's the question that I have for you guys is like, do we really want this legal tender stuff? Because this legal tender stuff is essentially the state saying, this is what you're allowed to use as money, and this is what you're not allowed to use as money. So, I mean, that's a really important discussion, because a lot of Bitcoiners would say like, yeah, but if you don't have the legal tender stuff, the shitcoiners get in there and, then you start to have rampant shitcoinery, right? This is all very important discussions. These are very, important topics to cover and discuss and analyze. But I will say this is definitely, a blow to the status quo. This is definitely a blow to the IMF. That, they came in there and they thought, hey, we're going to give you a loan. And part of that loan, you have to de-incentivize the adoption of Bitcoin. It looks like the new Argentine government said, F you in that loan and what you guys were doing. We're going to let the people choose. And in that way, Javier has come through. He really, he advocated for liberty. He advocated for freedom of choice. And what I'm seeing here is exactly that. So, again, it's too early to tell, but this is definitely a promising move. I'm going to start with Gabe, and then we'll move on to Opti.
Yeah, thank you. I think there's something important to talk about when it comes to the new president down there, and that is I don't see him. He's not like a flash in the pan that just like showed up on the scene of Austrian economics. He's been teaching Austrian economics at the university level for years, and that's what he does, and he understands it very well. And I believe that it's safe to conclude that one of the reasons behind this approach that he's taking is that he wants to show in real time and demonstrate the validity of Bitcoin as the only real true money that exists by going ahead and throwing it into the ring with every other currency or whatever we want to call it, and then letting everybody see on full display in front of the world, watching them duke it out and watching Bitcoin come through and slay the rest of them like it's a dragon and they're a bunch of running little ninnies with sticks. And then Bitcoin comes and then, rises to the top, like you said. And then, because I believe that that's a very effective demonstration, instead of just coming in and saying, okay, listen, we're Bitcoin only and that's what we are. because then there could be some question as to, okay, well, people could be more critical, and they could say, okay, well, he's just doing that because, he likes it and he promised his supporters in the campaign and whatnot. But for him to open it up and to really let the market do what it does and to demonstrate the power of Bitcoin in its natural environment, just watching it do what it does, to me, I think that can be a very effective way for him to demonstrate that, and then to remove doubt. So I see it as a positive, but I do want to put it, I do want to say something that I believe is important to always consider when it comes to things like this. Politicians are politicians at the end of the day. Okay. Power corrupts. We all know this. So I believe that it's important for us to, especially to hold individuals like this who come out with these bold plans and these shock, whatever he's calling this, for them to come in here, these shock stabilization approaches. But I believe that Bitcoin politicians like this, they need to be held to a higher standard, because they're really putting themselves out there. And for them to do that, and for people that are accustomed to functioning in a trustless way, for Bitcoiners to put trust in a person, first of all, we can't. But second of all, it's important for them to be held to a higher standard. And I believe that he will be held to that higher standard. And I think that at the first sign of him not fulfilling the promises that he has said he was going to fulfill, people are going to just come in and tear him down, and it's not going to go well for him. I would say it will go worse for him than most other politicians who break their campaign promises. But it's something that we need to watch very closely. However, I think it's a good opportunity for Bitcoin to go out there and to show what it can do, and the rest of the world to see the power that it can demonstrate.
100%. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I love that.
It's it's very, very interesting moment in history on a world level. And what a time to be alive. And I'm just thankful that Bitcoin is here. And I think that politicians that stay true to Bitcoin ethos, I think they have a higher probability of succeeding. I think that their constituents are going to be happy. And I think that, politicians that shy away from that, and they follow the totalitarian model of the 20th century, I think they're in for a rude awakening, so to speak. Anyways, Opti, what's your take on this, brother?
Yeah, first and foremost, I kind of want to echo what Gabe said at the end as well. I had this conversation with a friend, and it was kind of angling more towards like Trump, but I think it's very fitting. It's like, guys, there is no savior, and as much as we are, very excited about seeing politicians like Malay say stuff what we've been talking about here on the show, let's do our best to not, put all our faith and trust in politicians. Of course, like Gabe said, they are politicians. And again, there is no savior out there that's going to save us. Like, protect yourself. This is the whole point of Bitcoin in the first place, is that you don't need an external person or any external event to protect yourself during this transition. And, as we've been saying, and we've been kind of covering, there has been some inklings and some rumors that us Bitcoiners don't really like about Malay. And I think he even mentioned it in that article or that video, basically, about saying, like, there's such an uphill battle for Argentina to succeed in what we think he's trying to do, that I think, he's only been in office for 8 days. I think it's one of those things we got to give him some time and see what actually plays out before we're quick to judge. With that being said, though, this announcement may not be as flashy as El Salvador making Bitcoin legal tender status, but I think this is just as important, if not even more important, as we're saying, having currencies compete on the free market and individuals choosing what they believe is the best currency. I personally think this is much better, but of course it doesn't get the same headlines as like El Salvador makes Bitcoin, legal tender. This is just kind of one of those, maybe slept on announcements that's like, hey, settle your debts and whatever you want in our country. All currencies are free to be used here. And I absolutely love this. You can tell that, Malay is actually an Austrian economist. Well, we're still yet to know what kind of back-end deals maybe are being made. But as far as being an Austrian in a position of power, you just love to see that he's like, hey, look, let currencies compete on the free market. Yes, Bitcoin is one of those. Of course, as a Bitcoin show, we're like, oh man, they did kind of open up crypto in there. They opened that Pandora's box. But I think people choosing what the best money for themselves will be, it's all going to end up in Bitcoin. All roads lead to Bitcoin. And I think this is a very defining moment, and letting Bitcoin actually compete on the free market as all of us Bitcoiners want to see. I think moving forward, this is going to be one of those moments that right now it's kind of slept on. This is like a very cool announcement, but also I think in time it's going to show that Bitcoin is the currency that can compete on the free market. It will win. It is winning. And we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. So what a way to end the year. And this kind of just goes back to the beginning of like Overton window and moving that Overton window. It just goes to show, and Nico joked about this in the past of like, oh, I guess we have a blueprint now, and America needs to go to what, like 150+% inflation before they wake up. Like, we know the pain threshold now. So hopefully we don't have to get to that much pain for people to wake up, but at least there is a playbook here. There is a format here and a blueprint going on that we understand. Look, hopefully we can kind of go in between both of these aisles. We have El Salvador, we have Bukele on one side with the power of the state protecting Bitcoin, and then we have the Malay free market Austrian economists on the other side that's like, hey, let the currencies compete and let the best currency win. So maybe America can kind of find its way in the middle. But hey, as we've been covering lately and all the backlash we've been seeing, maybe I'm a little naive and hopeful here, but I got faith in us. I think we can figure this out.
100%. I completely agree with you, man. What a strong finish to Simply Bitcoin news and numbers for 2023. Now let's get to the culture, the last culture of the year. Before we do that, I do want to give a very special shout out to our sponsor, My voice is back. Oh, snap. They're the most trusted place to buy, sell, and host mining equipment. If you want to buy mining equipment with them, you could check out their inventory by checking the link in the video description, and you can connect with a member of their awesome sales team. They make purchasing miners easy and transparent. You could also sell mining equipment with them, access their vast network of domestic and international customers when you sell mining equipment with them. Guys, check out, start building your mining utopia. Check out their racks. Kaboom Racks, best place to buy Bitcoin mining ASICs. All right, everybody, let's get to the culture. A lot to talk about.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. All right, guys, I do want to give a shout out to the Pacific Bitcoin Festival. It is one of my favorite Bitcoin celebrations of the year. Opti and I are going to be there. It's the Bitcoin celebration of the West Coast, the Pacific Bitcoin Festival. Last year's speakers included Jimmy Song, Lynn Olden, Greg Foss, Gladstein, Corey, Preston Pish, Stacy, Max Kaiser, Stefan Livera, and many, many more. You want to get your tickets quickly because the prices will increase. You can use promo code SIMPLY and you'll get yourself a big discount. Also, check out the Happy Hodl Days giveaway. Lots of giveaways that are happening. 2 VIP tickets to Pacific Bitcoin, mystery prize package. So many awesome things. It could be a total of $8,500 in value. So definitely want to check that out on the Pacific Bitcoin Festival website. But yeah, guys, you definitely don't want to miss this Bitcoin celebration. Anyways, Opti, what are we going to talk about today, brother?
Yeah, well, of course, culture is the feature our guest, and we got an epic guest. But I want to start, Gabe. Let's talk about what project you are working on. What is Operation Bitcoin? And then I do, want to elaborate a little more on your thoughts of all this crazy stuff we're seeing in the last couple of weeks. It seems like it's starting to get heat up. But first and foremost, Gabe, what is Operation Bitcoin? Let the people know out there what you're working on.
All right, awesome. Thank you. So, Operation Bitcoin is a nonprofit that is on a mission to bring Bitcoin education to military veterans, and also to connect them with career opportunities. And we've added on an additional stage that will provide business incubation services to veteran business owners that would like to build Bitcoin businesses specifically. The thinking behind that was, first of all, the education part is key. It's foundational. We are a licensed light node with Me Premier Bitcoin. So what that means is we have full access to the Bitcoin diploma program through Me Premier Bitcoin. They're amazing people. If you're not aware of their mission, you've got to check them out. But we are what's known as a thematic node. And so a thematic node focuses on a certain theme, a certain community group of individuals. And of course, ours is military veterans. And so our focus primarily is on education, and then providing career opportunities, connecting them with Bitcoin employers, creating internship pathways for them. And the thing about it is, many of us probably know that in the Bitcoin world right now, the number of jobs aren't really as plentiful as the number of people that are seeking jobs within Bitcoin. And so the path of thought led us to the conclusion that, well, why don't we support people who want to build more Bitcoin businesses and create those jobs? So that is our goal, is to provide that support to veterans who would like to create Bitcoin specific businesses within the industry. So I want to give you a little bit of background behind our reasoning as to why we're on this mission. First of all, so there are over 16.5 million veterans in the United States alone. That's 16.5 million potential Bitcoiners that are out there. And there are 200,000 service members that leave active duty military every single year. Now, again, this is just in the United States alone. Okay, so that's 16.5 million of us right now among the US population, with 200,000 more every single year. So these individuals are people that are accustomed to the military lifestyle, that are accustomed to serving a mission, to being a part of a purpose-driven effort that is larger than themselves, accustomed to being a part of a community as well. And so my background before jumping onto the Bitcoin mission has been in talent management, development, training programs, leadership development, things like that. And a big part of what I have done since my time in the Army, when I got out in 2012, has been to build veteran talent programs for organizations to support veterans who are in transition from the military into their civilian lives. And so, to me, that the natural fit, as soon as Bitcoin came into the center of my life, as it tends to do, was to get as many veterans plugged into this mission as I possibly can, because there is a reality that we do live amongst in our society, and that is that we have a lot of military veterans that are kind of floating around without a mission, without purpose. Nico, you talked about that nihilism. Some of us may be subject to that type of nihilism and that loss of identity and that loss of purpose in the civilian world, because it's just different. It's just different. And so I have found that Bitcoin is that mission for veterans to get plugged into. When we go into active duty, we put our hands in the air and we swear an oath to serve something larger than ourselves, to be a part of a purpose that's something bigger. Unfortunately, the reality is we go and we join a part of a machine that is doing things that are, that we all eventually learn are not in line with our own our own core values and our own principles. And so by the time we get out of the military, we feel like there's a part of us that did not fulfill that mission. And the fact of the matter is, many of us come out feeling not only that our mission was unfulfilled and that our oath was unfulfilled, but that we really contributed to something that did damage in the world. And so many of us are seeking that mission to get plugged into. When I became orange pilled, it was my father, actually. He's a salty old Vietnam vet. He was in the Navy back in the Vietnam days. And as soon as I saw the light and it hit me, I realized that this is something for veterans. And I started reaching out to as many people I could find. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I started reaching out to as many people that I could find that had Bitcoin in their profile, that had served in any branch of the military. And I found very quickly that there are a good number of veterans that are already on the mission. So I started getting plugged in with them. And there was already a group that was in place called Bitcoin Veterans. And it started out, it was a Twitter group. We have since migrated to other platforms where we communicate. And I just want to say right now, if you are a veteran and you're in this session right now, and if you're watching this, then get on Twitter, type in Bitcoin Veterans, join the community. We're out there. We're growing. Actually, if I get any Bitcoin veterans in the group right now, let me get a fist up in the air. I see him. Thanks.
Let's go. Yes, there's a few in there.
That's right. Those are my people. All right. So get on there, check it out. So Operation Bitcoin stepped in we're closely affiliated with Bitcoin Veterans, and so again, we are a nonprofit organization. We're plugged in. We are our big launch. We've been building in the background, getting all of the operational side of things in place, building out the business side of things, getting our nonprofit status set up, setting up our pitch and our approaches and all that stuff, getting the word out right now. And our launch is 2024 when we will really, that's when we're going to bust out on the scene. Because you know what? I think 2024 is probably the year to do it. There seems to be a lot of momentum that is gathering around it, and we are busting out onto the scene to make it happen. So that is us. That is Operation Bitcoin. Check out our website. We are on Twitter, op_Bitcoin. We are on the internet at operationbitcoin.io. Thank you. And we're everywhere that you could find us. We're out on LinkedIn too. Tell your friends. We do have a Geyser fund that is out there as well. So tell your friends. We need volunteers. We need workers. Fortunately, we've got a lot of people that are jumping in. Man, I see a lot of good comments going on in here. You guys are my people. And that's it. Get on the mission.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I'm friends with Mike Hobart, and we always have these conversations all the time where like, look, I didn't serve in the military, but I think Bitcoin is as American as apple pie, as the saying goes. And I personally found that Bitcoin, I wouldn't say like gave me purpose, but it got me on the mission of like doing what I know we can be doing. And I just see just the perfect, combination of veterans and Bitcoiners, and shouts out to like Alex and Shane and all you guys at Bitcoin Veterans. Absolutely the oorah energy that I think that needs to be not only spread more, but I think it's so interesting how veterans just gravitate to Bitcoin, and it's just such a beautiful thing. Anyways, Gabe, before we go too long and I start ranting, I do want to get your thoughts on this comment from Elizabeth Warren, and I couldn't find the other tweet, which I'm going to circle back in here. But for those audio listeners, I'm sure actually we covered this the other day. Elizabeth Warren's been doing the rounds and the she's been doing the propaganda hit pieces on Bitcoin, and you guys saw this tweet. I put this out the other day, or rather I put it on the show the other day. So here's Elizabeth Warren's tweet. She goes, crypto companies are spending millions building an army of former defense and law enforcement officials to lobby against new rules, shutting down crypto
she's talking about
terrorism.
you, Gabe.
This revolving door boosts the crypto industry,
about you, bro,
but endangers our national security. And the other tweet I wanted to find was, I forget who it was, some guy named Matt. He's basically saying that if you're in crypto, then you're a traitor to America. Anyways, Gabe, as a veteran, what would be your response to people that have this negative bent towards Bitcoin and veterans in general?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, I would be remiss if I did not thank Elizabeth Warren for bringing more veterans onto the Bitcoin mission.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you really want veterans to do something, tell them they shouldn't do it, and then we're going to know that it's definitely something that we want to get, that we want to be a part of. So, thank you, Elizabeth. I owe you a Christmas card. You're the greatest. She might actually be one of the best things for the Bitcoin mission that's ever hit it since Satoshi. So we're going to see how that plays out. But the reality is, this is the most important mission in the world right now, and we are in a race to avoid the war. And that's just a reality. And we can say kinetic or non-kinetic, but whatever it ends up looking like, there is going to be some difficulty that lies ahead of us. We're going to have some hard times. It's going to happen. We need people that have leadership skills. We need people that are resilient. We need people that are able to bounce back and to keep going when the punches start flying. Because we talk about the ignore you phase and the laugh at you phase and the fight you phase. Well, we're in the phase where they fight you. Okay. And I've been monitoring, and I see, we all see what happens on Twitter, and it's really fun and it's exciting to be bold and to even talk a little bit of smack when they're ignoring you and when they're laughing at you. But then when they start, when hot lead starts flying around and they start punching you, some people are like, oh, it was kind of funny at first, but now this is serious and it's real. I'm moving to another country. I'm out of here because, the fight is happening. That's not how it works. Okay. That's when it's the most important. That's when it's the most important to have people around that can keep their wits around them, people that have been in situations that are challenging, that know how to overcome and know how to push through, even when it sucks. And you're not going to find a better group of people to do that than a whole bunch of military veterans that are, first of all, already pissed off at the government, and second of all, have seen the truth in the light that brings Bitcoin and are armed with this non-violent approach to the peaceful revolution.
I love it, man. Well, dude, Gabe, it's an honor to have people like yourself, people like, a good friend of mine, Alex Stanzik, and of course, a good friend of the show, Mike Hobart, on our side. We're really, really grateful that you're on, our side of the football, and that amazing veteran community in the United States, and that brothership that you guys built in battle and conflict and serving, the armed forces. You can't just create that out of nothing. You have to go through, these ordeals. You have to overcome these ordeals together, and friendships are forged in that. So, that community is extremely strong, and I'm just so bullish that you guys are bullish on Bitcoin. Because that's a group of hombres that have your back, when the going gets rough, right?
Yeah,
so,
it's like Alex says. This is not a group of people that you want out in the woods plotting against you.
I mean, it couldn't say it better than Mr. Stanzik.
Wait,
right?
one more thing. All right, go ahead, Nico. Sorry.
Yeah, I've been reading Chuck Norris, Alex Stanzik jokes as much as I can. Every Bitcoin veterans show, I just drop them. Like Alex Stanzik doesn't get sunburnt. The sun gets sunburnt when I don't know. I fucked it up, but you guys get the point. Anyways, Opti,
I just kind of wanted, Gabe, if by chance we have just, a pre-coiner that is a veteran that just is interested in Bitcoin, and they happen to watch this, they're getting super excited, but they're still a little unsure about Bitcoin. What would be your elevator pitch, your 1 minute pitch to them, and how do you get them, mentally involved in the mission that we're trying to build over here at Bitcoin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ultimately, Bitcoin, yes, it's money, but it's more than money. It's freedom. Every human should have the right to freely transact, and nobody understands the importance of freedom more than someone who has been in a place where it doesn't exist, or in a place that is torn by war, which is the type of place many veterans have been. Bitcoin is the way that we avoid that from happening. Bitcoin is the only road to the freedom that veterans have fought for. There's no other way. It's through Bitcoin. It's not about money. It's about freedom. And this is the way. And beyond that, just get plugged into the community. We're coming to this mission for a reason. We're here for a purpose. Okay. And it's too big to ignore. And there is a tidal wave of veterans that are moving towards Bitcoin right now. Get plugged into the community. The best way to do that is hop on Twitter, go to Bitcoin Veterans, go to Operation Bitcoin. If you hop on the website, there's a forum on there where they can enter in their information. We're not asking for anything private, just some basic contact information to get them plugged in, because it's the community that has so much power to it. And we know that. Our friend Gary, he calls it layer zero. Okay. The people are layer zero, and that is the most important. Yes, obviously, Bitcoin, it is what it is, and it is perfect, but it's the people. We've got to have layer zero in place, and you're not going to find a better community than the one that you'll find here.
Amen. Amen to that. All right, I do want to read some Alex Stanzik jokes before we close this off. Alex Stanzik doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the earth down. When Alex Stanzik enters a room, he doesn't turn the lights on. He turns the dark off. Alex Stanzik can divide by zero. Time waits for no one except for Alex Stanzik. Alex Stanzik can slam a revolving door. Alex Stanzik counted to infinity, not once, but twice. Alex Stanzik can unscramble an egg. Alex Stanzik can speak in Braille. Alex Stanzik can hear sign language.
How many of these do you have?
And last but not least, the boogeyman checks his closet for Alex Stanzik before going to bed.
Oh man.
Oh man, that was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hold on, no, stop. We need to do the memes, or else they're gonna nuke us.
Oh,
bro.
we're doing memes. We're ending the show. We're ending the year with memes. Okay,
We have to.
Let's do it. All right, let's review some memes. Here we go.
The Daily Meme Review.
Okay.
All right, guys. Wait, do it. We do some applause. We do some applause here. We're gonna have to update the daily meme review to like the weekly meme review or something. They're writing in the chat. You guys already know the deal. This is the meme review where you tag me in memes on Twitter at simplybitcointv, or you drop them in our Telegram group, t.me/simplybitcointv. Join our Telegram group. It's an awesome group of people in there. Great conversation.
It's free. It doesn't cost you anything.
You can hang out with other crazy Bitcoiners on the mission. This is the way. As you guys know the meme, tweets are the bullets, memes are the artillery. Continue to ridicule the corporate press. Continue to ridicule anyone against Bitcoin, because you already know.
You're against Bitcoin. You're against freedom.
And of course, get the calls of action. Get the calls of action about Bitcoin so your friends and family understand why we do what we do. And then last but not least, make some funny so that other Bitcoiners remember why we do what we do. It really is a morale thing sometimes. And as Gabe's been talking about, we are in the trenches. And I really do believe that Bitcoiners are leaders, and you guys are leaders in your local communities, as well as leading the world to a more prosperous future. So this is the way, guys. This is why we do the meme review. Of course, this is the last one of the year, and I'd forget that you guys love it, and you guys would riot. You guys would riot on us if I didn't do one last meme review for 2023. All right, first one is this one was posted by Swan, and it goes, they're the same picture, and this is the classic office meme, and we got Elizabeth Warren on one side. And we have Jamie Dimon on the other side, and it goes, corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. And then, of course, they're the same picture. We have thoroughly exposed Elizabeth Warren and her anti-Bitcoin bill being backed by the bankers. We know that the video of Elizabeth Warren and Jamie Dimon was all, bread and circuses. And of course, they want to stop Bitcoin because they understand what we understand. It eliminates their moat, and they are terrified and they're scared. And they're having closed door meetings about how to stop Bitcoin. Sorry, you can't stop Bitcoin. Okay, next one is by Bitcoin Scoresby. And we have a quote tweeting Pierre Rochard, and it goes, your brain is an unhosted wallet, according to Elizabeth Warren, and she wants to ban it. And here we got Scoresby, and he goes, see green area in diagram below. And you can see the mind of a Bitcoiner, just like a normal mind. What we got, self-perfecting. We have... I can't read all those. I'm colorblind, but you can see the green area right here, and it's unhosted wallet. She literally wants to lobotomize you and ban your brain from remembering 12 to 24 words.
She wants to ban your brain.
It's incredible that this is where we are right now, that Elizabeth Warren is actively fighting the First Amendment. Brain. It's literally crazy. This is crazy. Okay. Next one. I'm going hard on Elizabeth Warren right now. All right. So next one is Alan Farrington, and he's quote tweeting Dennis Porter, and Dennis Porter has a tweet. Goes, breaking, co-sponsor of Elizabeth Warren Bitcoin ban bill admits the bankers helped Warren write the bill. And we got the Scooby-Doo meme here. And you can see that the mask, they're unmasking the villain here. And the villain with the mask is Elizabeth Warren, and she unmasks it. And of course, who is it? It's Jamie Dimon. And they would have got away with it if it wasn't for you dastardly kids. For the Bitcoin and all. Okay, and the next one by Walker America. He goes, Bitcoin has the most interesting man in the world. Fiat has the most totalitarian senator in the world. And we have the most interesting man in the world with Elizabeth Warren's head on it. And it goes, I don't usually agree with the CEOs of multi-billion-dollar banks, but when I do, I prefer stripping away basic freedoms from American citizens. And then doubling down, another one, accelerate. Okay.
Man.
And the last one isn't a Elizabeth Warren meme, but I thought this one was hilarious. Shouts out to Greg Zaj. I saw your message. I haven't responded. I will be joining Meme Factory pod soon. That doesn't exist. Anyways, Greg Zaj goes, Bitcoiners trying to pay the bills. And you can see a guy here and it goes, man with autism starts his own business after no one else would hire him. And we got Thanos. Fine, I'll do it myself. I feel like this is all us Bitcoiners, you know, we're the unhirables, the undesirables, and yet we're going to change the world. It's absolutely beautiful. You know, I really like the Bob Marley quote. It's a song, and it's the forgotten stone becomes the cornerstone. And it really feels like this is the way with Bitcoin, and really, you know, very fitting with Gabe coming on, considering how we've seen so many veterans become the forgotten stone. And now is the time you can get on the mission and you can be the cornerstone and change the world and uphold the oaths that we all believe here in America and beyond. Bitcoin is a global phenomenon. It is taking over. It is winning. We are bringing freedom to the world.
Freedom.
Money. Okay. Drop your meme review score in the chat. This is the last meme review of the year, guys. So I hope to see your comments. We're going to review them live right now. I'm going to give it the Santa hat that I took off because it's too hot. Okay. Santa hat for my meme review score today.
I'm going to give it two very special scores. I'm going to give it a Nico Bitcoin trading card.
Wait, you need to let it pull. You can't see it.
Yeah, you can't see it. Anyways, you get a Nico Bitcoin trading card, and then you get a Tone Vase limited edition.
Where's your other one? You need to pull it out of the case because the Tone Vane ones was clear.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyways, those are my scores. Those are my scores.
Gabe. What is your meme review score? Last one of the year.
Mine is a Bitcoin Veterans beverage receptacle with my name on it. This was a gift from a fellow Bitcoin veteran who made this for the podcast host. So, Garrick, thank you.
Let's go.
It's awesome.
Boom.
And what you call it? Beverage receptacle?
Yes, that is correct.
I've never heard that one.
Bitcoin Veterans beverage receptacle.
Okay. Awesome. What great scores. Okay, Nico.
Also a Tone Vase tequila.
That looked like Shane Hazel.
Shouts out to Shane Hazel. He's a good dude. I love Shane.
Oh, yeah.
Unconfiscatable pen.
All right, listen. Wow. All right. This is Nico meme review hour. For all the meme reviews, he's not
some dice. Some unconfiscatable limited edition dice.
What?
Yeah.
How come I didn't get one of those?
Unconfiscatable ballet.
Okay. That's enough. All right, guys. Also, we haven't done this one in a minute. But if you want a bright orange safety hoodie, hit us up at simplybitcoin.com. We do have some shirts. We do have some hoodies. We are talking with Bitcoin artists. We're going to get you guys some new merch. I will get you the hats, Matthew. I know. We're working on it. Just bear with us. We have so many moving parts behind the scenes that me and Nico may be dropping the ball on the merch right now. But we'll get it to you guys. We will get it to you guys. All right, Nico, are you ready for the last meme review score?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm so ready. Let's go. I mean, is everyone dropping their meme review?
Yeah. There's some in here. There's some in here.
The chat. Okay, let's do it. Let's get to it. Oh, Rumble's popping off. 75 watching live on Rumble. Holy cow. Okay. Justin gives the meme Merry Christmas, Simply Bitcoin, and all unhosted brain cells. Yeah, I like that one.
Very few of those.
Elaine says Simply Bitcoin ride avoided. Few chatters to love Simply for another year. Whoop 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 whoop. All right, Romaine, meme score in 2024. Simply Bitcoin chat will have the most millionaires with 80 IQ. Bitcoin. Phil C, I give the memes $1 million Bitcoin or bust. I like that.
Let's go.
I like that. I like that. Sail Dog, I give the memes a wholehearted appreciation for our vets. Love that one. That's a good one. Son of Satoshi, Andres, meme review. 0.0000000000001 Native American blood full ride scholarship. If you know, you know. I think he's referencing Elizabeth Warren. Meme 1 VFW parade. Mary to all. Okay, I like that. Matthew J, meme review score 1 Simply Bitcoin hat. Okay,
yes,
I like that.
I know, Matt. I know.
I like
okay.
that.
And then I'm over here on Rumble. There is a few here. So first one, Vito 1327, Bitcoin meme score. Christine Lagarde sits on a. No. I don't know if I can say that. All right, Narwhal meme score. Don't forget BTC Sessions Christmas special tonight.
Yep,
Cheers.
I will be on there. I will be on there at 8:40 with Max and Stacy and Turdameesters. Definitely don't want to miss that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Simply Bitcoin in 2023. We really appreciate all you guys for I mean, holy shit, I'm speechless. This show has really blown up
What a
in
year, man.
2023. We would not be here without all y'all, so we appreciate all y'all's support, staying with us all these days, all these weeks, and just showing up, showing in the chat, dropping us a like, dropping us a comment, supporting us, supporting our sponsors. It really means the world to us. We would not be here without you guys. So we really love all you, from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of Opti's heart, from the bottom of all of Simply Bitcoin's crew, Rustin, and of course John, Sophia, Daft, Adele, whole crew, Morpheus, Jax,
The whole
Ani,
team.
Ani, the whole Simply Bitcoin crew. We love
2024 is
you.
gonna be late, guys.
Thank you so much. Guys, we are going to be taking a break. So no Simply Bitcoin episodes next week.
We will be
but
dropping content though. They should be some content for you guys, but
We'll
no
have
live show.
something, but the live show will be back in full force the first week of January. So everyone have an amazing holiday. Enjoy Christmas. Enjoy the new year. Spend time with your family. I'm going to be unplugging from the Matrix after the Ben's Christmas show tonight, and I'm going to be spending some time on the beach, and it's going to be great. Yeah, anyways.
Wait. One more meme review score. We got to do it. Toxic Sophie score. Give me memes and sats or give me death.
Very
All
nice.
right, guys.
Very,
We love
very
you.
nice.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. We will be back stronger than ever. On that note, let's plug Gabe. Gabe, where can people find you?
Hop on operationbitcoin.io and find us on Twitter at op_Bitcoin. Come check us out, guys. And make sure you check out the Bitcoin Veterans Podcast. We're streaming live every Wednesday night. We're closed next week. We start up again in 2024. Find us on YouTube and on Twitter Spaces. Love y'all. Merry Bitcoin Christmas.
Appreciate it, Gabe. Thank you. All right, guys, if you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Consider subscribing if you feel like we provided you value. Consider sharing the content. Have an amazing rest of 2023. We will see you back here, Simply Bitcoin Live in 2024. Peace out, everybody.